Wow. God bless. Oh, Lord. Good God. Narcissists use a form of mind control on their targets to get their needs met. Their main weapons are deception and confusion, and without them, they couldn't survive. They deceive people into believing that they care for them and that they have the best interests at heart. And this is the farthest thing from the truth. People are then confused because the narcissist's words and actions don't match up. Targets will actually start making excuses for the bad behavior of the narcissist and even blame themselves for it. Is it a personality disorder or is it a plain evil? Narcissists lack morals and everything they do stems from this. Does it really matter how they got this way or why they do what they do? What we need to know about them is that they go through life screwing everyone over every chance they get, and we need to protect ourselves from them. They think that the others are stupid and deserve to be conned for giving them many chances to change. It is impossible to get the narcissist to listen to for any negativity that concerns them. If you try to tell them that their bad behavior hurts you or harms others, they will accuse you of being jealous of them and claim that you are trying to control them. You can talk until you're blue in the face and you'll never get through the thick skull of the narcissist. This is not in their nature to ever think that they are done wrong and should be held accountable or change their behavior. There are so many reasons to despise the narcissist, but the very nature of them is truly annoying. There is nothing worse than seeing a grown person acting like a spoiled brat that wants and demands their own way of all the time. Sometimes you just want to smack them and tell them to grow the hell up, but you know that would only further their victimhood delusion. Narcissists think that everyone is talking about them or thinking of them. They really do believe that they are at that important. They see something posted on the social media, it must be about them. If someone gives a general example, it is geared towards them. If someone wants to talk privately on the phone, it must be about them. This paranoid state of mind usually ends up with someone being attacked by the narcissist for something they haven't done. When dealing with narcissists, you have to keep in mind that you are facing someone that has no empathy for this. This is the most dangerous person you can encounter. They don't give you thought to your well-being and will treat you like an object to utilize to get what they need. They will lie, steal, and cheat even when they don't have to because it is their nature. They will trick you into believing that if you love them enough, they will change into a good person, believing that you will be your downfall. A leopard does not change their spots. If you live with a narcissist, you will see someone shift right before your eyes. The narcissist will pretend to be the nicest, kindest person out in the public, but as soon as they hit the door to their home, they will morph into the screaming wild banshee, ripping into everyone in sight. They can only keep up the angel act for so long until the demon bursts forth. Wow. Narcissist teachers are doing their best to damage the minds of the most vulnerable. These sick individuals are drawn to this profession to have a steady stream of targets to hunt and destroy. Most of the victims are damaged for life because of the abuse they have suffered under these monsters who have made them believe that they are too stupid to learn and have encouraged the children to bully them. They are also known to physically and sexually abuse their targets. Narcissist bosses can and will make your life hell unless you sign on to one of your minions. Most of these bosses secured their position through lying and backstabbing, so they know that they could be exposed at any time as a fraud. When they see that an employee is more knowledgeable than they are, they will zone in on them to eliminate them in case this person shows them up. They will give them bad reviews, sabotage their work, overreact to the slightest mistake they may make to make them appear incompetent. You got top billing because you are a nasty ass kissing narcissist. I got top billing because I'm the most talented between the two of us. One tactic a narcissist uses is to act surprised when you put yourself before them, or go out of your way to do something extra for yourself without consulting them first. Instead of telling you that you deserve it for all the hard work you do, will tell you how selfish and inconsiderate you are. In their sick minds, they should always be the first or at least asked for their opinion if a decision is to be made, even if it has nothing to do with them. Dealing with narcissists is exhausting and it could affect your health. Stress is known to cause many illnesses and can even make you more accident prone. No narcissist is worth your health, your safety, and your heart. These people only think of themselves and do not care if they are running you into a ground. They will leave you broken crying if they can. Wondering how someone who runs a narcissist page on Facebook can go to another narcissist page, steal their memes, remove the credits, and then repost them on their page. Doesn't that seem a little narcissistic to you? Narcissists are batshit crazy, but you won't see them running around in straitjackets. Most of the population doesn't even know that a narcissist is or how to protect themselves from one. The narcissist mostly walks away from the destruction they have caused, looking like the good guy or even the victim. They are still sneaky and live their lives fooling people. Narcissists love to rush into relationship and will try to get you to move in quickly with them or even marry them within a week or month of knowing them. They know that they have to hook you before you know who and what they really are. The next hook is to have children really quick because they know you are a decent, responsible person and probably won't abandon your family. The narcissist is always ready to erupt into a hanging, raging bull. They can turn from the easygoing nice guy to the crazy in seconds flat because the nice guy packet is just an act. They aren't a nice guy at all, and you'll see that as soon as something doesn't go their way or someone puts a delusional power trip. It's obvious that the narcissists know what they are doing because they're so sneaky about it. Some people make excuses for them, saying that they have an illness and that they can't help hurting people, but that's how they slither around trying to stay under the radar while conning people from their hearts and wallets. When a narcissist hurts you, betray you, cheat on you, lies to you, or steals from you, they will tell you that you are overreacting and that you are being hysterical over something small. They will turn the focus off of their dirty deed and onto you for how you are handling the offense. They are the master at their manipulation and will use this tactic whenever possible. Narcissists are basically toddlers in a grown-up body. They have never learned how to be an adult in an adult world. They use childish tactics to manipulate people to get what they want. If these games don't work, they'll cry, scream, and stomp their feet while calling you names. They will then go into the silent treatment mode to try to punish you for not giving them the tantrums. Some will even go a step further, using aggression and violence if none of their baby games works. You can't help but be part detective while dealing with narcissists because of all the deception coming from them. You find yourself questioning everything they say and watching their every move. You can't have a normal, healthy relationship with anyone with these dynamics going on, and it's not your fault, as they would have you believe. Even if you can't catch them in an outright lie, your instincts tell you something is wrong. If a narcissist taps a door or has a slight fever, the world must stop and everyone must tend to their knees. They will garner all the sympathy and attention they can get out of it. Some even go as far as posting gross pictures of cut sores and colostomy bags on social media, not realizing and caring that their audience is horrified at their sights and wondering what the hell happened to them to make them this crazy. Narcissists love the World Wide Web and are notorious for conning people online for financial gain. They will fake hardships or illnesses and then ask others for money or gifts. They are also out there seeking online affairs, and you have many people on both sexes carrying on with them at any given time, even though they may act like a saint in front of their partners. Be aware if they keep their passwords private or they are constantly clearing their history or deleting messages. As a narcissist on a diet, then you must be on a diet. Whatever whim they are on or fad they may try will be shouted from the rooftops, and everyone around them will try it too. And they will be labeled as stupid, ignorant person. The narcissist knows what is best for everyone, even though they think is best changes week to week. If you don't go along with one of their fans, they will soon give it up out of boredom and then blame you for not supporting them when they were trying to better themselves. Most people don't realize just how dangerous a narcissist really is, especially when you can't call them out on something. These creatures will smile at you to your face, but are secretly sabotaging you behind your back. They will pull dirty deeds like swishing your toothbrush in the toilet, spitting in your food, scratching the paint of your car as they walk by it, and hurting your pet when you're out of sight. In their demented world, revenge suits their bruised, fragile ego and makes them feel superior again. Have you ever seen a narcissist lost in thought with glazed over eyes? Do you ever wonder what they could possibly be thinking about? Normal people will be thinking about cute puppies or about loving someone deeply, but not so with the narcissist. You can bet the narcissist is lost in the thoughts of how other people perceive them. It doesn't matter to them if their perceptions are based on lies and falsehood as long as others are enamored by them. You think the narcissists outnumbered us and that we are surrounded by them? You may be right. We have followers of ideologies that will gleefully kill you if you don't believe as they do or you try to leave the cult. You have the rich and the famous telling us that they can't protect ourselves. By the same means, they protect themselves, and we have groups calling themselves anti-best fascists, using violent fascist tactics to shut down those with opposing views. Our free speech is under attack with those saying that what we have to say offends them, and so we should be quiet and not express our views. All of these things are oppressive power plays and are meant to enslave us. And is malignant narcissism on steroids. The nightmares persist after being victimized by the narcissist. You can find yourself waking up in a cold sweat because you have realized that you have been danced with the devil. Their motives and actions are so far beyond the norm that you can't really wrap your head around the fact that such soulless creatures exist. Most targets develop different degrees of PTSD, and it may take several years to learn to trust people again. Narcissists love acting offended to shut you down. They hate the truth and will say that you can't speak the truth because you offend them, and others they can spew all kinds of filth and lies and claim censorship if you object to it. This is just another way they try to control people and push their own narrative and agenda. There's no such thing as freedom of speech or thought when it comes to the narcissist. If your idle offspring is a narcissist and will be caregiver in old age, you better make other plans unless you also plan on being abused and mistreated. Narcissists are not nurturing at all and will not meet your needs. They have also been known to help the elderly parents meet their makers a little sooner to cash in on their inheritance. The narcissist hates you whether you want to believe this or not. They hate everyone every moment of every day. Just below the calm surface is a rabid dog that will take you down if they can. They know that they are a fraud and a fake, and I hate them so almost as much as they hate you. There's a miserable existence, and the only joy they have is to make you as miserable as they are. Do not feed the narcissist. You can make a small mistake or at work or at your home, and the narcissist will call you out on it and let everyone know that it happened, especially if you feel that you are smarter or more talented than they are in their sick world. This somehow makes them look like some kind of a genius for detecting the mistake. On the other hand, if you point out the mistake that they have made, you will be called petty and tyrant. If you're having a conversation with a narcissist and you think that they're listening to you, you're sadly mistaken. The narcissist doesn't care what you have to say or what you think. They are impatiently waiting for you to take a breath so they can turn the conversation back onto your favorite subject, which is themselves. You can ask them 5 minutes later what you said, and they will either say that they can't remember or that they do remember and that you offended them somehow with your words. Getting dumped by a narcissist is like garbage taking itself out. Narcissists who use their looks and sexuality in their younger years as bait to lure in their victims find that it really is working much anymore, but that doesn't stop them from trying. In their deluded minds, they are just as sexy as they were 40 years ago, and everyone still wants them. To prove this to themselves, they'll try to steal another's partner from them, even their own children's mates. If this doesn't work, they will tell themselves that they are just too hot to handle for some. Don't be surprised or amazed if the narcissist tries to slither back into your life after they have tried to destroy you. They count on good people to forgive and forget and will take full advantage of that to come back for round 2 or 3 or 4. They are opportunists, and as long as someone is giving, they are taking. Once you get over the shock of seeing what's behind the mask of the narcissist, you'll be a different person. You'll be wiser when choosing friends and partners, and you'll probably distance yourself from some family members. You will then realize that it was a hard but necessary lesson and to learn, and your life will improve significantly. You probably had self-respect in the beginning of your relationship with the narcissist, and that's one of the reasons you were targeted. You were probably then managed down and slowly but surely made to doubt your own reality and accept the abuse you as deserve. This is an attack on your mind and soul, and you must never believe that you deserve to be treated badly. You know who you are and how you should be treated, accept nothing else. Want to drive a narcissist crazier than they already are? Ignore them. They thrive on others' emotions since it makes them feel important and alive. They pissed you off, making snide remarks. They feel powerful. They made you happy by giving you a false compliment. They feel powerful. They made you feel guilty because you made a small mistake. They feel powerful. The only way they can feel any power by making another feel something and to react. They have no power over their own sad, pitiful lives, so they live through the emotions of others, go great rock, and don't feed the narcissist. Wow. Can't see the monster, but others can. Traumatic bonding occurs as a result of ongoing cycles of abuse in which the intermittent reinforcement of reward and punishment creates powerful emotional bonds that are restrained to change. Unhealthy or traumatic bonds occur between the people in an abusive relationship. The bond is stronger for people who have grown up in abusive households because it seems to be a normal part of the relationships. Initially, the abuser is inconsistent in approach, developing it into an intensity perhaps not masked in other relationship of the victim. It is claimed the longer the relationship continues, the more difficult it is for people to leave the abuser with whom they have bonded. Some narcissists are self-proclaimed profess they have been given the truth by their cause, and will feel their right if you don't accept it, playing along with the delusion. Not only will they punish you with verbal and physical abuse in your life, they revel in the thought and the spending and eternity in torment. These are some of the worst narcissists you'll encounter and should be avoided at all costs. If you think a young narcissist is a damned from hell, just wait until they grow older. They have lost their looks and charm, and if they don't have loads of money to influence and rule over other people, they are left alone without much of an audience. This is when their anger and bitterness towards the world is on full display. They go for negative attention instead of positive attention they used to receive, because any attention is better than no attention at all. There's no bigger clown in the circus of life than the narcissist. Conversing with one of these creepy characters not only brings, it's exhausting. They can ramble on about insignificant things that they have done many years ago without taking a breath between sentences. They do this so you can't interrupt Rich in the boring subject. You're only there to play a part of the audience or for the self-important motor mouth. The abuse comes in small increments and increases until the target becomes conditioned to accept it, and slowly but surely they start questioning their own reality and mental health. With each snide remark, the narcissist states the words as to see how far they can go without the target protesting. The abuse and the degrading can go so far that the target may go on antidepressant, commit themselves to a mental hospital, or commit suicide. After the narcissist has you hook, line, and sinker in love with them, they will start dropping bombs on small truths about themselves, knowing that you probably will excuse them or think that you can fix the problems for them. They may say that they have a fail on record. They may admit that they once had an affair with a close family member. They can confess to being a kleptomaniac, etc. They do these drops in small increments as to not totally freak you out and have you run away. Some narcissists put on the poor little innocent me act to disarm you. They use a soft, calm voice to lure you in, but you will hear their real creepy voice once you are roped and tied into a relationship. The screeching that comes from them sounds like something out of the pits of hell, and the wild words they spew can only be formed from a sick and distorted mind. And sometimes you'll find two narcissists working together to con someone. They may be best friends or even a couple. They feel comfortable with each other because they both lack morals, character, and empathy. Make no mistake, though, that one of them is calling the shot and abusing the other, while the weaker of the two knows that they are being degraded and tries even harder to be as devious as their master. Neither of them really like each other, but they feel smarter and secure in this sick and twisted world. Prisons are full of narcissists and they all claim their innocence. Someone made them angry, someone left their property unprotected, someone has more than they have and it's not fair. Someone offended them and decided to listen, they have a temper problem. And the world should understand. Someone that was jealous of them set them up for a fall. Stockholm Syndrome is a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance with your captors as a survival strategy during captivity. These feelings resulting from the bond formed between the captor and captors during intimate time spent together are generally considered irrational in the light of the danger or risk endured by the victim. Generally speaking, Stockholm Syndrome consists of strong emotional ties that develop between the two persons, where one person intermittently harasses, beats, threatens, abuses, or intimidates the other. Do you find yourself feeling more like a parent than an equal when dealing with certain people? You may be dealing with narcissists. Narcissists have not learned how to react to the world until they are forever. Be as taught us that throw temper tantrums or give you the silent treatment when you don't get their way or you disagree with them. It's exhausting and kinda creepy if you find yourself in an intimate relationship with one. They may look like an adult, but underneath the surface is a bratty child that can never fulfill your needs. Real love doesn't cause confusion. If you find yourself asking if someone loves you and cares for you, they probably don't. When you really love someone, you want to make sure them feel secure in the relationship and safe with you. Dealing with narcissists makes you feel just the opposite. You are either questioning if they love you or you are making excuses for their behavior, which makes you feel unloved. They count on your confusion to keep this fraud going. Watch the eyes don't lie. Do the eyes light up and ugly when someone is hurt? Do you see a look of anger when something good happens to someone else? Narcissists have abnormal reaction to everyday happenings, hard as they when trying to appear normal to others. Their sick, twisted thinking gives them away in their expressions. You aren't dealing with a normal human being with empathy, and these are the most dangerous among us. Do you think that you missed a narcissist in your life? If you are grieving them, you must realize that they are grieving an illusion, a wisp of the smoke, basically a TV character. Every good thing they showed you about them was fake. There's no good if there was. They wouldn't need to hide. They use your confusion to keep you hanging on in case they need you in some way. You aren't the only one. They have many waiting in the wings to be used and abused. If a narcissist doesn't get their way, they will turn into a screaming banshee right before your eyes. They have been using this tactic since they were toddlers and found that it works for them. This mostly works because people neither just want to shut the loud mouth loon up or they are frightened that the situation may turn to violence. Have you experienced a crazy and enraged person because you made a simple mistake while driving or you are going a little too slow or the person behind you? You bet that you have encountered a narcissist. In their minds, everyone should drive like they do and you should just get out of their way. These couples feel safe to rage at a stranger because they have a getaway vehicle if things escalate. Are you in communication with the narcissist? You don't know how lucky you really are. You no longer need to search engine or set encyclopedias because they know everything about every subject. Just ask them about any subject and they'll either talk endlessly for hours, make stuff up as they go along and they will say that this topic is irrelevant since they know nothing about it, but not admitting that this is why the narcissists are some of the most misinformed people out there. They cannot stand that somebody may know things that they don't, and they hate appearing stupid, but most of all, they don't listen to others. Does the narcissist put you in a state of frustration and anxiety? It's planned and it's feeding them. It doesn't matter to them if you love them or hate them, as long as you're feeling some emotion towards them. They feed off others' emotion and they feel alive and powerful. If you're concentrating on them, attention is the only thing that keeps a narcissist going. Without it, they would wither and fade away. Seems the narcissists are a lot more prone to alcoholism than most people. Being drunk off their assets is actually very selfish move. They are unavailable for the people. They may count on them. They can't drive. If someone's car breaks down and needs an emergency ride, they aren't in any condition. If someone needs emotional support or a shoulder to cry on, they can't provide their children a decent meal because the bottle means more to them than their own offspring. What a wonderful world it will be if the narcissist's true self showed through their fake Winnie. We would see them coming and covered in fear and disgust. Narcissists know that they have to hide the violence within or they would only have other bad element of societies as so-called friends and lovers. These same people also use and abuse people and are aware of how the narcissist operates, so they aren't fooled when their targets have to be those unaware of the evil lurking behind the mask. A victim can be sure that the narcissist will have a huge number of flying monkeys spying on their victims, and the flying monkeys will be believing 100% of what the narcissist is telling them, even if the flying monkeys has seen the truth. The truth will mean absolutely nothing to a flying monkey, because they will have one purpose in their life, and that will be telling the narcissist what they want to know when they want to know it. Make no mistake, when your narcissist is done with you, you'll be maligned and lied about to others in the real world as well as the social media, and they'll portray themselves as a victim. They do not. They do that to our family members who don't make them what they feel they have entitled to, as well as people they have been in any kind of the relationship with. Narcissists think themselves as the center of the universe, when in fact they are more akin to black holes sucking the life out of everything around them. Narcissist parents are very childish and immature. It's a wonder that some of the children grow up to be healthy and normal. It may be that the other parent was sane and taught them that mommy and daddy are soft as sockers, and that the behavior is hard not to act. Offspring of these creatures are some of the bravest people I've ever known, because they have had to face the reality that their parents are incapable of love, yet they themselves can still love and be loved. To anger an honest person, lie to them. To anger a narcissist, tell them the truth. Narcissist, okay. To anger an honest person, lie to them. To anger a narcissist, tell them the truth. Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru Ji, Satnam, Satnam, Satnam Ji, Sari Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru Ji. Narcissists will defame others under the guise of caring about their well-being. One of their favorite tricks is to make up falsehoods while talking to others about their target. They will say things like, I'm concerned about all the alcohol they consume, I'm worried about the mental health, because they are paranoid a lot. I love them so much, but they seem to be moody and touchy. The narcissist knows that these things are not true, but this say them to plant ideas in the listener's mind so that they will then shun the target and not believe them when they tell the truth about the narcissist's evil ways. One of those rare moments when the narcissist sees the ugliness within. You are me. Narcissists are soul-sucking vampires. They'll try to take everything from your life, including your happiness and peace of mind. Even if you expel a narcissist from your life, they will always be lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce on you if you let your guard down. Your garlic and cross here are knowledge and a great memory of just how bad it is with them in your life. The only reason a narcissist is in your life, beside family relations, work-related, etc., is because you have something they need. They are only around people that feed them somehow. Be it attention, money, status, sex, whatever, they are using you. There is nothing sincere about them. It's all about them all the time. You have no qualms about lying, stealing, breaking hearts, or driving someone to suicide to have their needs met. The harder you fall, the better they feel. They are that demented. Narcissists, all have that predatory stare. You just have to look deeper for it in some. If you watch them closely, you'll notice that they focus in on the physical movements like a cat hunting prey. Not only are they scanning for any sign of weakness, they are also picking up gesture and parts of identities they find attractive to add to their fake persona wardrobe. Have you ever seen a narcissist blame the other parents' genes for the bad behavior of their offspring? Even if the other parent wasn't present in the child's life and the narcissist parent praised the child, alone the other parent will get the blame if the child is a mess. The narcissist won't take any responsibility on the project if the project turns out bad. But if the child somehow turns out to be a super achiever, the narcissist will praise themselves endlessly on what a great job they did single-handedly. You must disengage all of your emotions when communicating with a narcissist. They are vampires. They feed on emotions. Positive, negative emotions from their targets are not only satisfying, they become a life-sustaining force. To them, you give them any power that they have, and they use this power as a weapon to destroy you, shut down your emotions, and you shut down the force that feeds on it. Cry, scream, and or do what you need to do with the betrayal and hurt you are feeling, but never in front of them. The fastest way to get rid of the narcissist is quit feeding them with your valuable attention, and narcissists can't feed on indifference. The narcissist spirit is a force to be reckoned with. The person before you doesn't have a sense of the fair play and will do anything to win first prize in breaking your spirit, making you beg for more. We are less of a target if you remember this and deal with them accordingly. The first rule of engagement is know your enemy. Never let an adversary break your spirit. Your spirit is your sense. Wow. Beautiful. Wow. God bless. Oh Lord. Good God. Narcissists use a form of mind control on their targets to get their needs met. Their main weapons are deception and confusion, and without them they couldn't survive. They deceive people into believing that they care for them and that they have the best interests at heart. And this is the farthest thing from the truth. People are then confused because the narcissist's words and actions don't match up. Targets will actually start making excuses for the bad behavior of the narcissist and even blame themselves for it. Is it a personality disorder or is it a plain evil? Narcissists lack morals and everything they do stems from this. Does it really matter how they got this way or why they do what they do? What we need to know about them is that they go through life screwing everyone over every chance they get, and we need to protect ourselves from them. They think that the others are stupid and deserve to be conned for giving them many chances to change. It is impossible to get the narcissist to listen to for any negativity that concerns them. If you try to tell them that their bad behavior hurts you or harms others, they will accuse you of being jealous of them and claim that you are trying to control them. You can talk until you're blue in the face and you'll never get through the thick skull of the narcissist. This is not in their nature to ever think that they are done wrong and should be held accountable or change their behavior. There are so many reasons to despise the narcissist, but the very nature of them is truly annoying. There is nothing worse than seeing a grown person acting like a spoiled brat that wants and demands their own way of all the time. Sometimes you just want to smack them and tell them to grow the hell up, but you know that would only further their victimhood delusion. Narcissists think that everyone is talking about them or thinking of them. They really do believe that they are at that important. They see something posted on the social media, it must be about them. If someone gives a general example, it is geared towards them. If someone wants to talk privately on the phone, it must be about them. This paranoid state of mind usually ends up with someone being attacked by the narcissist for something they haven't done. When dealing with narcissists, you have to keep in mind that you are facing someone that has no empathy for this. This is the most dangerous person you can encounter. They don't give you thought to your well-being and will treat you like an object to utilize to get what they need. They will lie, steal, and cheat even when they don't have to because it is their nature. They will trick you into believing that if you love them enough, they will change into a good person, believing that you will be your downfall. A leopard does not change their spots. If you live with a narcissist, you will see someone shift right before your eyes. The narcissist will pretend to be the nicest, kindest person out in the public, but as soon as they hit the door to their home, they will morph into the screaming wild banshee, ripping into everyone inside. They can only keep up the angel act for so long until the demon bursts forth. Wow. Narcissist teachers are doing their best to damage the minds of the most vulnerable. These sick individuals are drawn to this profession to have a steady stream of targets to hunt and destroy. Most of the victims of damage of all life because of the abuse they have suffered under these monsters who have made them believe that they are too stupid to learn and have encouraged other children to bully them. They are also known to physically and sexually abuse their targets. Narcissist bosses can and will make your life hell, unless you sign on to one of your minions. Most of these bosses secure their position through lying and backstabbing, so they know that they could be exposed at any time as a fraud. When they see that an employee is more knowledgeable than they are, they will zone in on them to eliminate them in case this person shows them up. They will give them bad reviews, sabotage their work, overreact to the slightest mistake they may make to make them appear incompetent. You got top billing because you are a nasty ass kissing narcissist. I got top billing because I'm the most talented between the two of us. One tactic a narcissist uses is to act surprised when you put yourself before them, or go out of your way to do something extra for yourself without consulting them first. Instead of telling you that you deserve it for all the hard work you do, will tell you how selfish and inconsiderate you are. In their sick minds, they should always be the first, or at least asked for their opinion if a decision is to be made, even if it has nothing to do with them. Dealing with narcissists is exhausting and it could affect your health. Stress is known to cause many illnesses and can even make you more accident prone. No narcissist is worth your health, your safety, and your heart. These people only think of themselves and do not care if they are running you into a ground. They will leave you broke and crying if they can. Wondering how someone who runs a narcissist page on Facebook can go to another narcissist page, steal their memes, remove the credits, and then repost them on their page? Doesn't that seem a little narcissistic to you? Narcissists are